Selling a home can be a bit overwhelming the first time around, especially if you need to sell a home that you never intended to own in the first place. A lot of people find themselves dealing with the reality of selling a home that was inherited. This means that they inherited the house and would rather sell it rather than keep it for their own personal use. Why? Well, for one thing, the house is often more expensive than many imagine. With a house that comes with typical upkeep and ownership expenses, and on top of that, there are property taxes to pay. Drew Allum here with the Calgary Home Sale Channel, and let's go through some common myths that people may have about selling their homes. Selling a house doesn't always happen the way you expect. You might assume that the home selling process is pretty straightforward. You find a real estate agent, take some photos, list the home on the market, and wait for the offers to roll in. At that point, you can expect to hammer out the final details with a buyer and finalize the sale. But in some cases, that process can take a lot longer than you might think, and you may be fraught with issues. In some circumstances, the sale might even fall through, forcing you to start all over again when the market may not be quite as hot as it is today. And then when you have to sell a home, it might be at a lower price than you had hopefully originally pictured, which can make it even more difficult for you to get a fresh start. Fortunately, you do have options outside of what you may imagine the home selling procedure to be. The reality is that many homeowners don't know about the other options available to them, largely due to some pervasive myths that exist about the selling process. Just because it's traditional to work with an agent or to sell to a buyer who needs a mortgage, for example, doesn't mean that's the only way to go. And in fact, your circumstances may necessitate another more effective route. But before you determine the best way to sell your home fast, it's important that you understand the misconceptions surrounding home sales. Let's explore some of those myths that you may believe regarding selling a home and why you should think outside the box just a little bit. Myth number one, you have to use a realtor. Weird for a realtor to say, I know. A lot of homeowners sign on with real estate agents simply because they regard it as a standard procedure. But in fact, you don't have to sell with a realtor. Many agents are very skilled and can speed up the process for you. But the goal here is also to get your home sold for the most amount of money in the shortest period of time. And there's some things that need to be done on the homes to get that to happen. The best agents can also be quite busy, and many have, other business and a lot of stuff on their plates, which sometimes can make it difficult to make your home a priority in their sales. What you need to do when it comes to that is, of course, check out as many agents as possible. Interview, find out about their marketing plans and make sure that their plan will help you. Working with a realtor also will cost you money. Agents work either on commission or a flat fee, but you can do this on your own. And like I said, I know it's weird that you're going to hear a realtor say this, but I want to be completely transparent about it. If you decide you want to sell on your own, that's called for sale by owner. You'll see the terms FSBO, for sale by owner. And that process is an option to you. Just be aware of the challenges in doing it on your own. You're taking on all the responsibilities, many that most people don't see that agents actually do, but you can do it. And be very aware that most high-paying buyers hang out where realtors sell, and that is on the multiple listing service. Ultimately, there's no rule that says you have to work with an agent at all, okay? Although it is common and recommended, it's not required. Myth number two, buyers need mortgages. One of the reasons why people have such a hard time selling their homes quickly is that they're waiting for home buyers to secure financing. Some buyers will simply be denied mortgages outright, ultimately causing the sum of your deal to fall through. Other buyers will be forced to wait in limbo while their lender reviews their application for approval. Now, some studies have found that the average mortgage loan process can take between 10 up to 50 days to finalize. And if the buyer's forgotten to file certain paperwork or the lender finds an issue with their credit, it could collapse the deal entirely. This can ultimately hold up your sale for much longer than you'd probably like. If you've already closed on your next home, for example, you're facing financial difficulties, even a small delay can be a big problem. And if the sale falls through completely, you could have a real disaster on your hands. If you're really interested in selling your home quickly to a serious buyer, you should seek out either a company or investor that buys houses with cash, or when the offers come in, go for the offer that has least amount of conditions and their financing already in place. If you're going to go for a company, be aware that these companies normally flip such homes for a profit, and it's best for homes that need repairs because they're typically going to be buying at a bit of a discount. Some buyers may just have sold their own homes and gotten a large windfall, so they can also be cash buyers. So look out for those. Don't be too afraid. As I'm talking about it here, 95% of all buyers that work with real estate agents go through the traditional bank financing process. And yes, homes do get sold. When you sell a home and it's an all cash process, just be aware that that's going to be more streamlined. Myth number 3 is you need to renovate your home before selling it. Now, to get top dollar for your home, in most scenarios, you should fix it up prior to selling. But while that's what most buyers want, that doesn't necessarily account for the people who aren't afraid of a project. Sure, updated homes do get a lot of attention, but remember that even in-demand upgrades don't always get you 100% return on your investment. For some homeowners, it might be worth the risk. But if you're already under financial strain or you find yourself in a time crunch, spending valuable resources on repairs or upgrades may not really be feasible. This could set your home sale timeline back considerably. And if you're worried about foreclosure or you need to relocate for work, you might think you're out of options. Technically, anyone can sell a home as is, but it's much easier to do this when you sell a home to an investor if you're not going to be asking too many questions. If you've got the time, then go that traditional route. Individuals who plan on buying a home for personal use will often expect a turnkey home, whereas cash buyers or investors generally are planning on renovating a home themselves. Cash home investors aren't scared off by a fixer-upper. In fact, they often seek these out because they have real possibilities, and that's part of their business. So selling a home as is can help you sell the house more quickly. After all, if you don't need to spend money on repairs, you can walk away without sinking more into the property. A cash home buyer will focus more on the potential of that house, as I mentioned, in its current state. They'll overlook the small cosmetic details and will offer you, hopefully, a fair price on your home that doesn't hinge on how it looks. There are a lot of issues that may require you to sell your house suddenly. And if you're going through a divorce, dealing with a debt, or no longer want to rent out an income property, you'll be motivated to pursue a quick home sale. And if you do need to sell your house fast, don't assume that you have to take that traditional route. Remember these myths and the realities behind them, and hopefully that helps you on your home selling journey. If you have any other questions or comments, make sure you leave them in the section down below. Check out all the other videos we have here that helps you out with your home buying and selling tips. Thanks very much for checking us out. My name is Drew, and I'll catch you in the next video.